Okay, this is the first introductory shiur to the first part of the Rambam's ideas on Hilchos Birchos Hamitzvos. Okay, and this is from Perek Yud Aleph of the Rambam. We are going to look at a couple of sources here. The first part of these shiurim are on the nature of Birchos Hamitzvos. This is sort of an introductory. We're really going to be looking at mostly Perek Yud Aleph of the Rambam's Hilchos Brachos. But we're not going to look at it in this year because this is an introduction. So the Rambam says as follows: mitzvos Hashem in Torah. This is Perek Aleph, Halacha Aleph, and always at the introductory, the first couple of halachos of the Rambam in any subject, like these are the first couple of halachos in Hilchos Brachos. These are always introductory things which tell you the nature of things. So the Rambam says as follows: mitzvos Hashem in Torah levarach acher achilas mazon. There's a positive command, one of 613 mitzvos, to what we call benching, to say Birchas Hamazon, to make a brachah after one eats. Right? Okay, so you're not obligated to say a bracha unless you're satisfied. Right? One of the qualifications is you have to be satisfied, and then you are uberachta. Even an olive's worth, you should make a bracha beforehand. And on a derabanan level, the Rambam goes on to say in halacha beis that on any food you're about to eat, you have to first make a bracha. This is Birchas and Nehnין, a bracha on something that you're going to get physical pleasure out of, and then you can benefit from it. Even if you just have in mind to eat or drink a little bit, mavarach, you have to make a bracha, and then, and only then, can you benefit from it. Reach tov, if you also with the smell, not just what you eat, but also smell, right? It's any sort of physical benefit. So you should make a bracha, and then you can smell and get benefit. And whoever benefits without making a bracha, so that it's almost as if they violated what's called me'ila, which is a isser to benefit from things that are belonging to the Beis Hamikdash, and you get benefit from it. So the idea that is based on the Gemara is that when it comes to Birchas HaNehnin, everything belongs to God, and then the bracha on pleasure is sort of a license that allows you to partake of the world, and then it becomes ours. So if you didn't make the bracha, there's no license to partake of the world. And also from Midivrei Sofrim on a rabbinic level, you have to make a bracha on anything that what you eat or what you drink afterwards. That's only if you drink a revius. That's if you eat a kazayas. And just tasting something doesn't require bracha until you have a revius. Okay, so the questions that we have here are: what is the nature of Birchas mitzvos? We didn't even get to Birchas mitzvos yet, but what will they be? This is Birchas Nehnין. Okay, actually, you know what? Let's save that until the next halacha. Okay, the Rambam says as follows. This is where we start getting into Birchas mitzvah. So just as you make a bracha, like we just said, on anything you get pleasure from, so too you make a bracha on every single mitzvah, and then you do the mitzvah. There are many brachos that the Chachamim were attacking that are derech shevach v'hodaya, not brachos of mitzvah, but a different category, which are ways of praise and thanks. The derech bakasha and requests. These brachos are instituted in order that, and they're usually a physical phenomena, seeing lightning, something like that nature, or buying a new garment and making a shechianu. In order to remember HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even though you didn't get any benefit from the world and you weren't doing a mitzvah. Okay, so here come our questions. What's the nature of this Birchas HaMitzvah? Okay, and the Rambam wrote Kishem Shemivarchim. When the Rambam uses the word Kishem, so that's drawing a connection to whatever between two items. So here he says Kishem, just as you Mevarcha Hana, right, on benefits, so too on mitzvah. The Rambam could have just said, you just make a bracha on Birchas HaMitzvah. You didn't have to say that it's like Birchas HaNehnin. So when he says that it's similar to Birchas HaNehnin, what the Rambam is telling us is that there's a conceptual connection between the two. our second question is, what is that conceptual connection between the two? Okay, the Rambam goes on in source number 4 here, and he says, Nimtzu kol brachos kulon shloshel minim. That you see that there are 3 different types of brachos: brachas hana, brachas hamitzvah, or brachas hada. Right? Shein derech shech l'odai. Okay, so the Rambam says there's 3 types of mitzvos. Three types of brachos. Excuse me. Brachos on pleasure, brachos on mitzvos, and brachos that are made for hodah. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why does the Rambam need a whole halacha to summarize what he said in the previous 3 halachos? Because we could have done the math ourselves and figured out why there are 3 brachos. Okay, the last second to last source we're going to see is the Ritva here, and the Ritva says as follows: Kasav Ritva v'tam zeh amru chazal avarach al mitzvah over asiyasan. What's the reason why we make a berachas mitzvah before we do mitzvos? Okay, so that this way we're demonstrating that the action we're going to do, which could be a very mundane action, sitting in a sukkah. How do I know that I'm sitting in the sukkah for the sukkah? I know that because I make a brachah and I demonstrate that this I'm doing for the mitzvah. This isn't just I'm sitting outside and eating. Okay, so how do we explain the Ritva's idea here? Now, in order to answer the question, in order to answer our questions, we've asked 6 different questions. Okay, we've asked, in this introduction, we've asked 4 questions, but we're going to, in the Shiur, we're going to ask 6, but we just need to build up a little more, so we're going to add 2 more. But the Rambam says as follows. So this is the mitzvah of Yiras Hashem. The Rambam says as follows: mitzvah ravias hishitzvanu lahamin yiraso. It's to have awe of God, ulafached mimenu, and to have some fear of God. And not to be like those that don't believe in God, heretics, and they just walk around and everything's happenstance. Aval nira bias ansha, but we should fear the punishment at all times. Okay, and that's the pasuk that says you should have awe of God. Right? That somebody that erases God's name you should die. Okay, the aim of and the source of this is that you should have awe of God. Right, so there's an idea of always having HaKadosh Baruch Hu in mind, okay, whether that's having awe of him, love of him, but here we're talking about awe, that you always have to have this Yiras Hashem that's on your mind at all time. Okay, so that's what this mitzvah is. Okay, and you have to be very careful, even just with Hashem's name, but you should always have, and we're going to use this mitzvah to understand and answer our questions, come up with a svara. Okay, that is the end of the first part of the first introductory Shiur.